The new Battleground mode is the new seasonal activity in Destiny 2's Season of the Chosen, and I think it's the closest to some of the best and most replayable content we've gotten since the Menagerie back in Season 7. The funny thing is that what the Menagerie nailed perfectly is what the Battlegrounds missed, but what the Battlegrounds does better than any other content in Destiny ever, as far back as I can really remember since Destiny 1's launch, is what the Menagerie didn't really knock out of the park. The Menagerie is still the best piece of content we've gotten outside of raids and dungeons because of how fun, rewarding, and replayable it was. This video isn't taking away anything from just how great the game mode was. This video is about how the Battlegrounds has given us a taste of something we've been begging for a very long time, and how combining the best part of the Menagerie with the best part of the Battlegrounds is the formula for incredible content moving forward in Destiny. Such great content that solves many of the problems we as a Destiny community have had for a really long time. I think we can finally get what we've all been wanting from Destiny. Hi guys, my name is Legionless. I do highly informative guides and builds for looters and shooters like Destiny 2, Outriders, Deep Rock Galactic, and a bunch of other games you can find on the channel. If you like this type of content, hitting the like button on the video would mean a lot to me, and it really helps support the channel so I can keep putting out the best content possible for you guys. While you're there, subscribe to the channel and you'll get recommended more Destiny content on the channel. The Menagerie is pretty widely recognized around the player base that's been playing Destiny 2 since before the Shadowkeep expansion, but if you're new or don't really remember what made the Menagerie so great, it was an incredibly replayable activity that was match made, wasn't failable, but could be sped through by players that wanted to farm really quickly, and the best part was how back-to-back runs were pretty much never going to be the exact same. In my opinion, that last part is the most important piece to the Menagerie's success. There was a bunch of different rooms that the team would need to go through before killing a final boss, but the order of the rooms was completely random. Each room had different mechanics from one another, so not only was the environment you were fighting in changing, but your objective changed too depending on the room you had. There weren't infinite possibilities or procedurally generated levels that would make every single run truly unique and fresh, but it's the closest we've ever gotten in all of Destiny. That's the bar we need set for every new activity. And then we have this season's game mode, the Battlegrounds. I don't know how long we've been saying how uninteresting it is for combat and gameplay difficulty to be centered around bullet spongy enemies. Honestly, it's probably been a sore subject since Destiny 1's alpha at this point. It's only gotten worse over the years with enemies being made stronger and stronger so they just one-shot like in the Reckoning back in the Season of the Drifter. These are some of the reasons why I've refused to do Grandmaster Nightfalls after getting the Conqueror title back in its first season. Activities and game modes were the only quote-unquote challenge is enemies that take 1,000,000 bullets to kill, and if I have 1 pixel of my body outside of cover, I get one shot by some enemy miles away because I need to play behind cover the entire time. The final section of the 2 Battlegrounds we've gotten so far, the Behemoth and the Hailstone Battlegrounds, finally have the right kind of challenge. In the final section, the enemy density is dialed up really high, and it just feels so unbelievably good to move around and kill this almost endless swarm of enemies. It's said time and time again how the best part of Destiny is and has always been its gunplay. So why has it taken so long for content to be designed around that? If the best part of Destiny is shooting your weapons and making enemies explode like you're John Wick, why do we keep getting content where enemies feel so powerful and we feel so powerless? And the Battlegrounds aren't even just lamely throwing more trash enemies at us. There's a really good mix of weak, medium, and bulky enemies that make it feel even better. There's a ton of red bar enemies that aren't really a threat, but they put a lot of pressure on you and feel really good to kill quickly. Then there's a fairly decent amount of orange bar enemies, which still aren't really that big of a threat and have a little more health. They're not really harmless like red bars can feel like, but they're not the type of threat that the just right amount of yellow bar enemies are. The waves of enemies we get are full, so every player gets to have fun playing the game, when at its best just feels like you're shooting and looting. And those waves aren't just really dumb and weak AI that you can just drop an area of effect grenade down on the ground and they all jump into it and die. Your gunplay matters. Not like a skill test of your aim like in PvP, but in the sense that you kinda feel like you're fighting for your life. That surviving while extremely outnumbered is the type of moments that remind us we've killed a god. When we're being challenged by our gunplay and the actual impact we have on the world, Bungie has the sky as the limit for the new weapons, armor, mods, or whatever else Bungie wants to give us to tailor a build for ourselves. Instead of the boring and uninteresting loot we've been getting, we could get new, exciting, and innovative ways of killing enemies. Rather than getting something that can't really be balanced like Mountaintop or Yellowhorn's one click to kill everything, let's start getting some futuristic gear that feels great to use. The Zalo Supercell exotic auto rifle from Destiny 1 and the exotic SMG Risk Runner from Destiny 2 are really simple but extremely fun ways of just killing enemies. So now Bungie has proven that they can create content that has a bunch of randomness to it that feels incredibly replayable. An activity that you can run over and over again and feel like you're just playing Destiny. You're not running in the same teeny tiny circle back and forth that's caused the extreme amount of burnout in the player base, especially last season. Bungie has also proven that they can create content that challenges players in the right ways, by making players have to solve the challenges and problems in front of them head on, with their weapons blasting and dropping bodies all over the battlefield. Now we just need Bungie to squish these two amazing concepts together, give us any one of the rewarding loot payouts they've given us before, whether that's the Menagerie's Chalice or the Umbral Engram system, whatever one they choose, just make it so that we can stay in the activity the entire time and get rewarded. No trips at the end of each run back to the tower, or some other vendor that completely disrupts the playflow. If we can get that perfect PB&J sandwich, then we can talk about where to go from there. Imagine if every activity is designed with that starting point. Then they can change things up so that each activity has a different core mechanic. Instead of all of them being just throw a ball here, let's get some new core activity mechanics going. Add more variables of randomness for those activities, so there's more that changes between each run. Instead of just the room changing between each run, what if more things can change? One time you can be in a confined map with a ton of melee enemies, a bunch of traps on the floor like lava and other procedurally generated stuff, so you end up with a game mode that has hundreds, thousands, or even tens of thousands of different combinations, with just enough differences for each one to be just a little bit different. Let me know what you guys think about the new seasonal activity in the comments below. I think it feels really awesome to finally be tested and challenged as a player through gunplay instead of let me just hide behind cover for 30 minutes, or else I get instantly destroyed while barely doing any damage to enemies. Liking the video and subscribing to the channel would mean a lot to me and really help the channel. My name is Legionless. Thanks for watching.
This whole world twice. If I could be a